What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
Opinionated, outspoken, informative. The Jaguar Journal. Your source for the latest information on Southern University sports and SWAC athletics. A Baton Rouge sports talk tradition.
All right, everybody, bright and early on a Saturday morning, it is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. Hope you're having a great morning, even greater morning right here in the studio. My man, Mike, I don't know what he's doing with all this pink on. What's going on with all this pink today, Mike? He says it's only Dodger hat. Then you got the pink thing with your laptop. Oh, okay, so it ain't no coincidence with all this pink. I thought you was representing something today, Mike. All right, I had to ask a question out loud. I didn't know what you had going on, but good morning to everybody. Glad to have you guys with us. Of course, I'm Perry White. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody listening across the Baton Rouge capital city area on Talk 107.3 FM. Everybody watching on our YouTube and Facebook Live. Glad to have you guys with us this morning. Look, we got checking in from Newport News, Virginia. Listen, I love when people check in with us on our YouTube channel. We get an opportunity to interact as well as with our Facebook Live. And let's go back to last week, right? We had an opportunity last week to talk to Coach Funches and Coach Johnson. Kevin Johnson, the head men's basketball coach at Southern University, and Coach Carlos Funches over at Southern, who's the head women's basketball coach. Both teams were able to get an early game victory to start off. The women got a victory on Thursday, and then coming around on Saturday, they closed the deal. Then on Saturday, it was a hell of a battle between Southern and Prairie View when you're talking about basketball. Hell of a matchup. It was an intense game. It was one of those games where when you looked at it, you said, man, look, you can feel it in the air. And you could. Prairie View got the victory over the Jaguars, unfortunately. But what a hell of a game it was. And then, of course, and that was on Monday, Saturday was Texas Southern. But on Monday, that was a hell of a game between Southern and Prairie View. Man, I'm talking about the tension. You can feel it. And those are the matchups when you're looking at, and I guess for me, SWAC basketball, right? The level of competition that has continued to rise when you're talking about starting from conference play, start just straight off the bat. Southern, one of those teams where when you looked in preseason on the basketball sides on the men, they're going to be tough. But I think the same thing has to be said about Prairie View. They're going to be tough. Prairie View and Southern. Texas Southern was, when you look at the week, Southern got an 84-73 victory over Texas Southern on Saturday, and then on Monday, falling 89-85 to Prairie View on Monday. Now, we look forward to today. Southern's going to be on the road taking on Florida A&M today. Tip off at 5 o'clock on the men's side. And then on Monday, we know it's always tough to go to Bethune-Cookman. Reggie Theus always has his team prepped and ready. And Southern has traditionally, since Reggie Theus has taken over Bethune-Cookman and since Kevin Johnson has taken over at Southern, Southern has had an issue with getting a victory over Bethune-Cookman. What it is, I'm not sure. But they just seem to come out on the better side of things. We go back to last Thursday on the women's side as I catch you guys up. Southern University women getting a big victory over Prairie View, 70-55. Then they come in on Saturday and get a 64-45 victory over Texas Southern. Then we go to Thursday. How about Southern University and Coach Carlos Funches? They go off to win 61-50 over Bethune-Cookman. And then today's matchup will be Southern versus Florida A&M. It's basketball season, people. It's basketball season. So had to catch you guys up, and I wanted to go back to that because, listen, I believe right now at the rate that this season is going, this is going to be a hell of a basketball season on both the men and the women's side. Mike, check the line. It's going to be a hell of a season on both sides. But for me, I'm looking at, I like right now what Coach Carlos Funches is doing. Coach Funches right now seems to have the women's basketball team, in my opinion, looking at an opportunity to repeat of where they at. On the men's side, the only issue for me looking at the men is closing out games. And I go back and I look at games throughout the non-conference in which I thought they had opportunities that they did not close out. Texas State, Washington, to name two. Two games that I thought they had in the bag. If they can only close those games out, and I felt the same thing with Prairie View down the stretch. When the shots mattered, they could not close them out. And I think that's going to be the name of the game for this team this year. If they can close out games in the second half under a minute and be able to make those free throws and become a really great rebounding team, put back shots, I think the men have a chance, but they got to learn how to close out games. And I think that's been the story of that team this year, which has kept them from a few more wins than what they have right now. All right, everybody, let's get ready to take a break as we get the show rocking and rolling. We're going to have a very special guest this morning, my man, Attorney Tony Clayton, who is the chair of the Southern University board. The system as a whole is going to be joining us, and we're going to talk about all type of stuff today. So I want you guys to buckle in, go run and use the bathroom, go get your coffee, go get yourself together, because this is going to be a hell of a conversation, because guess what? It's not often you get a chance to talk to the chair of the board. So we're going to get a chance to do that today, and you guys will get a chance to tune in and interact with us on our YouTube and Facebook. So let's get ready to take a break. When we come back, we'll be back with more of the Jaguar Journal.
It's one thing to do it in a normal year, but it's something else in a year like three now with only 5 outs to work with. This one hammered to left field. Melton at the track, reaches up, and it's gone. Well, that's one way to try to get back in it. Xavier Moore leads the ballpark, and it's a new game. Our score at 6-4. Fourth home run of the season.
Moore fought back from a 1-2 count, too. Got a pitch he could take out of the ballpark, and to the location of this. Outside portion of the plate, but high. Still goes on. 2-4 ride.
Rocket City track strikeouts out of the bullpen, pitch number 70. He went around, yes indeed, make it 6.
Do you go to the bullpen?
Ground out to first. I think the answer is no. The payoff. Back up the middle, base hit, the leadoff man's aboard. Oh my. First 2 are far in the SWAC tournament. This one sends a charge to deep left. Melton going back at the wall.
Oh, what a play.
He did not.
No.
And that should be a home run. In a worst case, we're tied at 6. And yeah.
The door opened.
I have never seen a play like that in my life. And we have to have a conversation here to figure out how this will be scored. In a worst case, we have a tie game. Unbelievable.
Good job of tracking down the ball. Nice concentration. Wow.
And the ball comes out of the glove of Melton as he hit the dirt, crashing through the wall.
I think that's home run.
That is a home run, and Southern's going to have the lead. For now, it stands as a triple, but they're going to have to change this, Jay. Watch closer.
If the door doesn't open, I think he's going to make that catch. But the door opens.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. Glad to have you guys with us. I am Perry White. Good morning to everybody out there listening across the Baton Rouge capital city area on Talk 107.3 FM. And everybody watching on our YouTube and Facebook Live, be sure to keep up with the Jaguar Journal across all social media. We're on X. We're on TikTok. Social media on Facebook, Instagram, as well as you can keep up with us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Glad to have you guys with us this morning. And a very special guest this morning join us. He is the chair of the Southern University System Board. He's no stranger here to the show, no stranger to the many Jaguars out there across the state of Louisiana and the nation. Want to welcome today on today's show, my man, attorney Tony Clayton. Good morning.
Good morning, nation. Good morning, Mr. White. How are you guys, man? I'm proud to be here. Glad to be here.
You up, man? Wake on up for us. Wake on up.
I'm up, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good to have you on the show. It's not often, people get a chance to hear from you from a perspective outside of maybe like a television interview or you at the board, with the board at a board meeting, being able to talk business. But this is an opportunity for us to get a chance to not only talk a little business with you, but then get to know you, because I tell you what, when I came to Southern University, your name was just like you were like this person in the shadows of Tony Clayton. And I really didn't know who Tony Clayton was until over the years, as I matriculated through the system. And, I showed up to a board meeting, or I got a chance to see you at a ribbon cutting ceremony, or you were doing something with admins around the campus where I actually got a chance to put a face to the name. But for the people that's out there and they hear the name Tony Clayton, let's talk about the humble beginnings. Where does Tony Clayton come from? Where does the humble beginnings of attorney Tony Clayton begin?
I appreciate that, but it's not much to me. I mean, I am what I am because of Southern University. But I was born in a little town called Plaquemine, across the river, on a street called Nats Alley. My family teased me that Dr. Dawson's office was right behind my grandmother's house, and I was born in the house, so they didn't quite make it there, but I think he cut the cord. My siblings teased me that I had a mule with a mint julep next to me when I was born. So I come from very humble beginnings, and believe you me, I know that, and I give all the praise to God for me being, if I'm anything, for whatever I am, it's because of him. And Southern comes in a not so distant second. So how's it, man? How you doing? How you been? What's going on? Let's talk a little bit about Southern. What you got?
Oh, man, I'm good, man. as we look at Southern and we talk about the state that it is in currently, going through transition of looking for a new system president, and we talk about your presence at Southern. This is your second time around at the head position, as we talking about being the chair of the board. But for you, when you look at Southern, and this is the next question that I was kind of steering you into, what made you want to be involved, to be in a position to say, hey, Southern needs leadership like myself, and I would love to be at the helm, to be the one to help lead this ship in the right direction?
I must first give credit to my colleague, my fellow board members. I have folks on that board, or we have folks on that board like Ann Smith from Amy, a stellar rock in the community. A guy named Quincy Carthon, a lawyer out of Opelousas. Like we got Ronnie Whitfield, he's the chair of our athletics. So it's not me, it's the collective effort of folks like the folks I just named. But I'm just like Benny Pearl. Perry, I'm just proud to be part of it. But I'll tell you, we are a deliberative board. We argue. We don't always agree, but we come out with a majority rule concept. So it's a great board to be on. And the board kind of like there's a unified I guess answer, for lack of a better way of putting it, but it's a collective voice of 16 people that inextricably intertwine their decision making with that is in the best interest of the students and the taxpayers of this state.
You have attorney in front of your name. So you're Attorney Tony Clayton, a graduate of Southern University Law Center. And guess what? One of the best in the nation when you talk about being able to educate folks and get them out there to be able to be the best that they can be. And you're one of those people, a successful attorney, district attorney as well. And let's talk about just the importance as we move on, Southern University Law School, and what it meant to you to even have you in a position that you are of being successful in life.
It's a great question, and I've often given this statement, and Perry, I stand by it. But Southern took me a rock out of the backyard cane fields of Louisiana and polished me into a gem so that I can shine throughout the courtrooms. So I don't know if I'm one of the best in the country, but I think the best in the country better pack a lunch if they're gonna go against me in the courtroom. And that's not bragging on me. That's just saying Southern taught me how to fight. Southern taught me how to argue. Southern taught me how to put the best interest of little folks. Of folks that people would typically try to walk over. I'll fight for them. I'll fight for them like there's nothing left in me. I do believe that big corporations put profit over safety, and I'm the guy to go talk to 12 jurors to tell them, say, hey, this is what this company did. This is why my client is injured. But I credit it all to Southern University, Dr. Jesse Stone, who I was his driver back in the day. But Barry, I could go on all day, man. Just like all your listeners, Southern University, dude, is ingrained in me. And I'll tell you, I told some folks on the other talk show that my kids are somewhat jealous because Southern is in my wheel. So they better stand in line, but Southern comes first.
And I want to say, I once heard a story from Dr. Isaac Greggs. I forgot where I was at, and Dr. Greggs was telling the story.
I love that guy.
And he said he pulled up and he snatched you up and had you go represent something in the court. You remember that story? What is it about that story? I can't vividly remember. I can remember Dr. Greggs talking about you and saying how he got you to go do something for him.
Man, I was his lawyer, so I'm one of his lawyers, but Doc had me represent him in all kind of stuff, man. I tell you, I can't go into most of it, but I'll tell you, I would walk Doc out of a courtroom every time because people love him. Jurors love. You have to be crazy to sue Southern or Southern's band with Dr. Gregg at the helm. I mean, this guy. 3 years ago, I represented Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt, the actor, he had built some homes in New Orleans, and the owners of the home filed a class action suit against Brad. And they should have sued the architects. But I told the lawyer, I said, you out of your mind. I'm putting Brad Pitt in front of that jury. You don't stand a chance. Well, that is who Dr. Isaac Gregg was. You put him in front of a jury, he would have them eating out of his hands. So yes, I've represented him on a plethora of issues, and I don't think we've ever lost. So he's the type of client you want to have if you're a lawyer.
Well, I just wanted to bring that up as we do get into the introduction of who you are in the background, because I remember that story. I thought it was interesting. That helped me get a chance to better understand just the foundation that you have at Southern. And as we talk about the foundation that you have at Southern, now chairing this board of supervisors for Southern, for you to be able to be in that seat, what is that like for just the average person or the average alum who may not understand what it takes to run operations at Southern, not just from a Southern Baton Rouge campus, but overall as a system as a whole?
So, Perry, we answer to people like you and your audience. I mean, they and you are our bosses. So trust me, we read the social media posts. We read your posts. We read what your folks have to say. So with that serving as a backdrop, to serve on this board is a unique honor bestowed upon all of us, to where the care and the policy making decisions surround us. And so we do our best. I'll tell you, this is an awesome board, a great collection of minds, a diverse group of people, and there's some smart people. I mean, I'm the one who's learning a lot from them. So we listen. As the chair, you're just an instrument of formalizing whatever the wishes of the board is. So the chair is not some super person. He's just a mouthpiece for the board and for the board's collective decision. But serving on that board is an honor, and it's just something that, if you're chosen to do it, it's something that you fear. You get butterflies in your stomach before every meeting, and you know that you have to do what needs to be done to keep that school open.
Let's get ready to do this, because in order for us to keep this open, we got to get ready to take a break. We got attorney Tony Clayton here join us this morning. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back to continue more of this great conversation of the Jaguar Journal.
The excitement is in the air.
Then he's going to throw the football. Complete this one to Daniel Guy. Guy still on his feet. Guy's going to go in. Touchdown! Brian Reynolds will come in and attempts a PAT, which is up, and it is good. On the record books at Jackson State. This time, nothing doing, and here comes your man, DeMarcus Miller.
Yeah.
Miller led the club with 17 tackles for a loss, as Reynolds will set up for the field goal attempt. This one will be from 20 yards out. He's 3 of 3 between 20 and 29 yards out. Kick is up, kick is good. So we've come to the end of the first quarter with Jackson State leading 10-3. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again, throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver, Hayes makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. And every time you think Southern struggles, they come back, they make a play. They've done it all year long. Kick is up, kick is good. Second down and a yard to go. Again, they give it to Lewis. Lewis finds room. Lewis still on his feet. Lewis making a move to the outside. He's inside the 25, the 10, the 5. What a run by Ryan Lewis. 69-yard run for Ryan Lewis. And how about this? Kicks up, kicks good.
Halftime, George Johnson along with Charles Mann. Southern trailed in this football game 10-7. Then they reel off 14 straight points, and they do it with the big plays.
And that's something that we didn't think would happen, at least from Southern's perspective. They've been able to methodically go down the field on people and win ball games, not the big plays. You saw the big play by Ryan Lewis running 69 yards, the nice throw by Terrence Levy. This is something that I don't think Jackson State thought they would see in Southern either, and they go into halftime down by 7 points.
Jackson State came in the best defense out of the SWAC. And if you take a look at the highlights, you will see that this club, and I'm talking about Southern, was really able to capitalize on a couple of miscues, and the big plays are the result of it.
And this is Daniel Guy with a nice stiff arm to Bradley Pittman there. And he runs that ball 36 yards inside for a touchdown, makes it 7-3. And then Terrence Levy, quarterbacking, throws a big bomb to Michael Hayes, who gets by Rashard Anderson and waltzes into the end zone for a 69-yard reception. And then the big run by Ryan Lewis. A scat back for Southern, races 69 yards for the score, and that's where it stands right now, 17.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to you. I'm Perry White. Good morning to everybody listening across the Baton Rouge capital city area on Talk 107.3 FM and everybody watching on our YouTube and Facebook Live. This morning, we got a very special guest. He is the chair of the Southern University System Board of Supervisors, my man, Attorney Tony Clayton. Good morning.
I'm here, Perry. What's going on, man?
Hey, not much. As we continue to keep things going, had to pay some bills. But to be able to have you here this morning and have conversation, I want to start with we had an opportunity a few weeks back to talk to Dr. Dennis Shields, who is now no longer the president or over the Southern University system as the president. Now we're moving in a different direction. But as we look at the campuses as a whole, from Shreveport to New Orleans to Baton Rouge, let us know from a standpoint of organization, where do we stand currently with as a system when we look at all of the campuses that compose of Southern University?
So Southern University, the state of Southern is well. I mean, we have 5 campuses, as you just mentioned. The biggest attribute that's for Southern is that we have our own built-in junior college, a 2-year college system. And because of that, a kid who may not have a relatively high score on the ACT test, we can run that kid through the 2-year system in Shreveport, but still have that kid present on Baton Rouge campus. But technically, he'll be through the 2-year college until we polish him up and get him up to the 4-year institution. So we can nurture our kids, and it just won't be any bumps in the road. Because like myself, when I first started Southern, I had to take remedial classes. I didn't score that high on the ACT test. I think I scored like a 15. But a kid like me needed a little bit more polishing up, and Southern nurtured me and did that. So having the 5 campuses or the 5 schools, for lack of a better way of putting it, allows us to take a Tony Clayton, polish him up, and then direct him into political science or law or medicine or wherever he or she may choose to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally, because I'm the same situation. Political science major, Southern polished me up. I tell everybody, I transferred here. I had a 1.7 GPA. I messed off at another school. I took college for the experience more so of the education. But when I came to Southern, I focused in on the education, and it was the educators of Southern University who took me in and they polished me up to make sure that I was prepared to be in the world and be a critical thinker to be able to make the best possible decisions in life. So very relatable, very understandable. And just like your story and my story, that's what makes the essence of Southern, because there are thousands of people out there that come from humble beginnings, and Southern saw something in them in which other universities and society at the time may have deemed and said, no, not here. And Southern said, you know what? Come on, let's get you, let's clean you up, and let's make you shine bright like the diamond that you are. So I totally understand when you look at the process of going through the university and the matriculation. Now, when I talk about the university as a whole, the system as a whole, you talked about the Shreveport campus. Now, we often get confused with the New Orleans campus because they are the SUNO Knights. And it took me a while to have to understand the Knights until I went down to New Orleans. I had a chance to walk around the campus. I went to a Southern University Alumni Federation leadership conference there before, and I've had an opportunity to go to each one of those campuses. But when you look at SUNO as a whole, it has its own pride and tradition about itself. Talk about that to give people a little bit better understanding, because from the outside world, they think the Southern Jaguars encompass each one of these schools, but these schools have their own identity within themselves, including SUNO.
There are 5 separate and distinct campuses. They're like the fingers on your hand. They're 5. They all operate together. But you're right. SUNO is now under the leadership of former Senator Joe Bowie. And when I tell you, this guy is a spectacular leader, and SUNO is breaking down barriers. SUNO was brought forth in the New Orleans area so that those African-American folks down there, like myself and you, had an opportunity to attend campus. Traveling to Baton Rouge took a quite long time back in the day. But SUNO is there and it's prospered, and it's offered a unique opportunity to African-Americans, and now both majority and minority Americans down in that area. But I'll tell you, a guy like you, Perry, speaks volumes because you emanated from Pine Bluff. Y'all didn't have cable vision probably when you were growing up. So when you came to a big city like Baton Rouge, but I'm joking about y'all. But folks like you, if we can, you were close to Shreveport, but to draw you into Southern, that's that eclectic mixture of young folks that we're able to bring in. I mean, you did like me. You went to political science, so I've done my homework on you, Perry. And I mean, we kind of look alike, and we kind of had the same kind of trajectory as it relates to Southern, man. So I'm proud to have you part of our Jaguar Nation.
We did have cable TV, okay? It wasn't like, for me, and what drew me to Southern, I tell the story all the time, it was the Bayou Classic. I don't have any family in Louisiana. I don't have any family that attended Southern. My mom went to the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. My aunt went to Jackson State in Mississippi Valley, and then the rest of the family went to Ohio State and the University of Ohio. So growing up, I saw Southern from afar, and my uncle, my aunt's husband, he went to Grambling. So we would sit and watch the Bayou Classic, and they would leave me and my cousins Thanksgiving after we have Thanksgiving dinner and head down to New Orleans. For years, we were begging, we want to go to New Orleans. We want to go to New Orleans. And they kept saying, no, y'all too young. It's too much going on. By the time I got like around 12, they brought us all as a whole. And that impact for me changed my life. I left there. Southern won the game, of course. I saw the band perform, and I had never been in a place where I saw as many people as you just said that looked like us there for a football game. 70,000 plus people, and it was completely different from watching it on television each and every year. So when I got there, I had my little Kodak camera. I took pictures of everything, and when I came back, the imprint of what Southern, just the overall passion and tradition I got a chance to witness, for me, stuck with me for a lifetime still to this day. It gives me chills when I go back and think about it, because that impact that it had on me that day, I never knew how long that would last and what direction that would take me in life. But because of that, it just showed as an outsider who knew nothing about Southern, knew nothing about Louisiana. That's what drew me in. That's what made me a lifelong lover and supporter of Southern University, a graduate of Southern. And I think about that story for many others who get an opportunity to just get a taste of Southern, and then they take that back and can't stop talking about it for the rest of their lives, to the point I'm sitting here doing a radio show. And as we talk about that imprint and the future of Southern and where it's headed, Southern University currently looking for, or in the process, a committee has been formed and in the process of looking for a new system president. Can you talk to us about the committee that has been formed and the direction that this system wants to move in, that they feel can take Southern into the next level?
So that committee is headed by former state representative and now city councilman Jason Hughes, who from New Orleans, was a strong leader in the legislature. So he will have major influence with the legislators of this state, both white and blacks, in terms of creating and helping us maintain our funding. It's also led by a gentleman by the name of Tim Hardy, who emanates from the great city of Shreveport. And Tim, as you know, is probably the best environmental lawyer in the world, not even the country, but he's there to offer his input, as well as James Stewart and some students from Southern, and Eric Lane from Jerry Lane. So we have a diversity, a group of folks who will pick that leader. I'm looking for someone who, and I say I, but it's 15 other folks, but we're looking for someone who's going to be able to have the system continually talk, the little components, talk to one another, communicate with one another to move that school in take it to a higher level. So I'm excited about what this committee is going to do. They're going to, within the next 4 months, they're going to interview a plethora of people and make 3 recommendations to us, and we'll choose that person from their recommendations, or whomever the board should see fit to bring on.
You know, you talk about whomever the board should see fit to bring on, and you look at the committee that's put together. But from Tony Clayton's perspective, what does the future of the Southern University system look like for you as the chair? And, you know, we plan now for the future, for it to carry on through the legacy, not only for you, but then for the next generation. But as you are in place now, what do you want the future, as you sit in this position to be a decision maker, to look like for this system?
Southern will be here for the next 400 to 500 years. And so, and we are building that foundation now so that this school will forever be here. I mean, she was here and she started in the 1880s, and here it is 2025, 26. So Southern has a strong foundation. It will be here. As you know, we're the only HBCU system in the country, and we're here to stay. And so it takes folks like you, and a guy like you formerly worked for Barry Landry. I remember that. You had dealings with Tom Jonas with some of your shows. It's about you guys, man. It's about taking guys like you, putting you in this puzzle to make sure that this school carries on. This show, the show on the yard, I mean, that's Southern breathing. That is actually Southern taking its breath by folks like you. So, but let me shift topics. What do you think about Marshall Faulk? Because I'm feeling the energy around Coach Faulk. What do you think about that?
You want to talk some football?
Yeah, let's talk a little football.
All right, let's go there.
We'll go back. All right.
For me, Marshall Faulk, so I'll be honest with you. When this whole thing took place, right, and let's start from the beginning, the hiring of Eric Dooley. Then we went on to Terrence Graves, right? SWAC championship appearance. Next year didn't quite get to where we wanted. The fan base kind of fell back because accountability in which they felt they did not get from coaches who they felt. And one thing I tell people about Southern's football fans, they may not be football coaches, but they know damn well what they're watching when they get into a stand and they spend their money to go to the games, when they travel. So you have to have some type of media savviness about you to come in and to relate to Southern's fans. And you just can't talk to them in football jargon and say, well, if you ain't never been a coach, you don't understand what's going on. And I think that was a mistake from the past two coaches of talking to the fans in which the fans felt some type of way. Marshall Faulk comes in and brings in a media savviness about itself, along with an intelligence about the game of football that I think that fans can relate to it. Now, the other thing to it is he's never been a head football coach. And for me, looking at a guy who's never been a head football coach, he's going to be learning on the job as he grows through this thing, right? And that's called growing pains. Now, when this entire thing took off, I said, man, and I said it here publicly, Southern has to have a guy who is a proven coach that has come from a background that within that background, he has shown in a resume that he's won. Here, he's increased these numbers. Here, he's done these things well. So when we look at the resume, it feels like you can be confident in what this guy has done because everywhere he's gone, he's left an imprint. Marshall Faulk brings in a different type of feel from that. It's not necessarily the resume of a football coach, but it's a resume of a NFL Hall of Famer who has resources and network ability across the country. That has to first make you feel good because it's what we've talked about throughout this show. Southern taking, and you said another 400 or 500 years. Within that 400 or 500 years, that's meaning we got to have resources. And that's one of the reasons I think you also, as a whole, with a committee looking for a new president at Southern. It's about what resources can we bring into the university as well as athletics. And not only that, creating partnerships and networks across the country to those who otherwise may not have wanted to do or have known about Southern when you're talking about doing business. So for me, there's a kind of, if I want to put an uncertainty, because for most head football coaches, I get to go back and I look at this guy's trajectory and I can base what I see now of what he's done in the past. Just like the University of Indiana, if you watched the game last night, you see Indiana, but when you look at their coach, he has a background that is like, I see how he got here. With Marshall Faulk, I'm eager because the excitement of him being a guy right there from the 9th Ward in New Orleans, a Louisiana kid who went off to play college football, went off to be a part of the greatest show on turf, and an NFL Hall of Famer. That's the part that excites me. That's the part I'm looking forward to in terms of what can he do now to wow us as a fan base. But I have to be honest, I have an uncertainty because I don't know what it's going to look like. And I think with anything, you have that uncertainty. You have that butterfly of what it's going to look, not going to look like.
You have to, by analogy, I draw to what my grandmother was telling me when I was a kid. She said, if you want to see the devil, you keep running with his disciples. And what she was telling me, you keep messing with these bad kids on the street or whatever, you're going to end up going to hell. Well, the opposite of that. Marshall Faulk, look at his disciples. He has C.J. Johnson, who's coached in the pros, who was a head coach at Tulane. He has that light guy. He has that merchant. He has surrounded himself with some great damn disciples, and which means the coach, he's a smart guy. I mean, I've sat there. Marshall is brilliant, so he gets the game. But when you go again, this collective effort of folks, that's where you go. Now, you mentioned something during your colloquy a second ago about business, and I got in a little hot water the other day when I said that we need to sell the naming rights on A.W. Mumford, and I stand by that, and I stand 10 down on it. But here's something else I think, Perry, and I want to know your viewpoint about it and your viewers. We put almost 100,000 folks, I think 50 to 100,000 folks on that campus tailgating, and not that many of them coming to the game. So I'm going to propose, and it's up to the board to agree with me, that you are not to come on that campus to tailgate unless you buy 1 or 2 season tickets. Because you come on the campus, we have to pay for security. It costs us hundreds of thousands of dollars for all those cops you see around there. So if we're going to have to pay for all that and you come up there just to cook and barbecue, you need to give us some money. You need to come into the game. So I'm like, let's put some conditions on tailgating because it's big, it's huge, and we have to make sure that everybody is safe up there. And that costs a lot of money. But just having folks come up there and sitting there and just barbecuing and not coming into the game or not contributing to this, the expenses of this, and I know that's going to cause some pushback, but I need you guys to hear me out on that. This is a business. What do you think about that? Putting a surcharge on them and making them buy a season ticket if you're going to come up there and tailgate. I'm not talking about the RVers because they paid.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about those folks who just walking up there and tailgate and bringing their barbecue pits. What do you think?
I've had this conversation actually with the athletic director.
You're scared. I can tell you hesitate. You're a little scared to talk about that.
Not at all.
I can tell you hesitate a little bit.
No hesitation. I'm trying to, you being an attorney, I'm trying to make sure my thoughts come out clearly in the right direction because what you just brought up, I've been having a conversation with the athletic director at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff about the same thing. They have dealt with their biggest game of the year has been homecoming. Unfortunately, the rest of the games have been But when it comes to homecoming, they look out into the parking lot and they look into the stands and they see thousands of people in the parking lot, but not that same number resonates within the stands. And so they look at all that money that's walking around the parking lot, but none of that money is coming into the stands. So the same concept in terms of the conversation has been had. I agree with you because in this day and age, you got to pay to play. And when I say pay to play, that's paying the players, that's paying the coaches, that's paying everything that you're looking for.
You're 100% correct.
And this is my thing with Southern fans. If you want to be the champions, because you have put your money where your mouth is, and we got to get ready to take a break here in a minute, but you have put your money where your mouth is. So I can understand from a position of what you have done in terms of your investment of the university. But I continuously tell Southern fans on here, it goes beyond a post on social media. It goes beyond the barbershop talk. If Southern truly wants to consider itself a championship program, when we talk about athletics.
Preach, Barry, preach. The kid from Pine Bluff, preach. You better go to that commercial break. Come on back, man.
Because we're going to keep this thing going because it has so many different points to it that we have to educate our fan base out there to understand what is it to be a championship program. It's just not hiring a coach and then expecting the coach to go do what he going to do with whatever resources that he has. Championships take a whole nother level of an evaluation when you look at everything that's associated within that program. And for us, it goes beyond, and our fans have to grow out of this old way of thinking that, okay, I paid for parking, I paid for a ticket, and I bought concession. Is that not enough? No, it is not enough. That's just the bare minimum. That's to cut the lights on. That's to pay the officials. That's to pay the security. That's just to get regular game day operation off just to give you the experience of the entertainment that you're looking for today. But if you want a true championship program across the board, we all have to put our money where our mouth is. And if it ain't just money, we have to use our resources and our networking background in whatever ways that we can in order to enhance the overall program. And not just football, not just athletics, but not just Southern University at Baton Rouge, but the system as a whole, with Southern system being the only historically black college university system in the entire world. That means something. And for me, we can't always, and I say this all the time, we understand we have to continue to fight the good fight. That good fight is saying we know the state and whatever else owes billions of dollars over the years of not being able to get the money that we feel that we're owed. But I'm not going to be the one, just like your humble beginners and my humble beginners, to wait on somebody to hand me something. I got to go out and I got to make it do what it do myself. I got to pull up my shoestrings, tie those bootstraps, and get going. And us as a fan base have to realize not only, one, our political power, but two, our financial power. And that financial power, we can give back. Because look, we spend it everywhere else. But we got to understand the importance of education and why education matters for us, and especially a place like Southern University when you're talking about the athletics. So I'm with you wholeheartedly. There are other areas when I look around, and I'm just like you. I see money walking around, and it's like, well, it's just walking around. There's no way it's getting back to us as an institution. And people often overlook that and don't think that matters and it means something. You just expect, well, we hired somebody, he got to make it do what it do, or we voted and elected somebody in office, they got to make it do what it do. No, it's our jobs, because I think you started off first when we first started this interview. You work for the people. Who are the people? The alums of Southern University. But the alums of Southern University and the friends and the family also have a major obligation. That obligation is to make sure, as you said, Southern University will be around for 500 years, and that's giving back in every way that we can possible. And if anybody got a problem with showing up to Southern's campus, as soon as you cross Swan Street, the hump, the back of campus, wherever, and they say, hey, we got to charge you to come on campus, you should be willing to say, okay, I will give whatever it takes to see Southern be successful, because we showing up, we want to win. Well, winning costs. Winning ain't cheap. Winning ain't just something you can pull out of a hat like people thought you could do 20, 30 years ago. It's a new world. It's a new day. And just like you said, we got to evolve with the times and realize, what does it take to maintain success and be a winner in this new world, thinking in a new way.
We're together on that, my friend. We're together.
Can I take a break and we come back now? I want to continue this conversation with you.
I'll be here waiting on you.
All right, Mike, do we need to take a double break? All right, let's take a double break. We'll come back at the top of the hour. I hope you guys will be and have enjoyed today's show as we keep things going. We're going to the top of the hour. Got my man, Attorney Tony Clayton, who is the chair of the Southern University System Board of Supervisors. Hell of an attorney, hell of a chair. And we're going to talk some athletics, because I know you guys want to talk about it. So let's get ready. You stay tuned. We'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Marching band from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The Southern University marching band is led by drum major Lewis, primetime Broadway Jr. Show him some love. The human jukebox will now take you through a precision drill under the sound of the put your hands together for the fabulous dancing dolls as they jam to the And now, moving at an amazing trailblazing 360 steps per minute. One of the many reasons why when you say Southern University marching band, it means excitement. And that only just to let you know that they're the best. The Southern University marching band is simply America's finest. So sit back, relax when you're about to experience the most exciting time of your life. As the feeling, the dazzling, the house rocker, the rock of all houses as the crowd plays attention on a ride. University marching band is under the direction of Dr. Atty, Associate Director of Band, Mr. Lawrence Jackson, Assistant Directors Cornell Knight, Gary Hill, and Lorenzo Hart. And me, I'm your MC, Gary Hill, and we out of here. Marching band from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The Southern University marching band is led by drum major Lewis, primetime Broadway Jr. Show him some love. The human jukebox will now take you through a precision drill under the sound of the
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. I'm Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. Good morning to everybody listening on Talk 107.3 FM across the Baton Rouge, capital city area, and everybody watching on our Facebook and YouTube live. good morning to you. Be sure to keep up with the Jaguar Journal. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Keep up with us across all social media on X, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and subscribe to the Jaguar Journal YouTube channel. Today, very special guest here on the show today, Attorney Tony Clayton, who is the chair of the Southern University System Board of Supervisors. Glad to have him with us this morning. Good morning, Attorney Clayton.
I'm here, Barry. How you been, Barry? Get started.
Listen, I had to walk off and I had to you had pumped me up before we got ready to go to break because of that question that you asked. And for everybody out there listening, we're having a conversation not only about the Southern University system as a whole that we did in the first hour, but as we now pivot talking about athletics and Marshall Falk, who is the hire at Southern University as the head football coach. And you yourself, I can see at the press conference the excitement on your face. So when I saw how interactive you was at the press conference, I said, man, he was a part of this process, and rightfully so, as one of the bigger donors in Southern University athletics. But just to kind of get us back on track and then lead back to exactly where you were going with this, what was that process like to get Marshall Falk here at Southern University?
So a group of us went with the athletic director, and we went to Boulder, Colorado, to meet with Marshall. And we met with him, and we locked into a conference room, a hotel room. And, I mean, we stayed in there for hours with him. And he asked us questions, and we asked him questions. And my mind was made up. I was like, this guy, football IQ is beyond. Well, I have nothing. I mean, I'm a mental midget when it comes to football. But this guy is off the chart. So I knew that he wanted to come home. I felt that he wanted to be part of Southern. And listen, Perry, here's what sold me on the guy. When we start negotiate salaries, he said, I want to pay my assistants first. I want to make sure I get money for the kids. And we did not even talk about his salary until afterwards. And we threw a number out there, and he did it. He took it, and we kind of enhanced it a little bit because it was relatively cheap. So he wasn't thinking about himself. But part of the deal, I think that brought him here was we will allow him to promote Southern, promote his brand, and as he promotes his brand, Southern gets a piece of that, as well as we get whatever we get off our own brand. So I mean, this guy just was an integral part of Southern University, and he was not thinking about himself. He was thinking about his assistant coaches. And to bring in the likes of this merchant, this offensive coordinator, to bring in the likes of C.J. Johnson, man, this is incredible. And look at the players. I was talking to a lady last night. Her kid plays for some JUCO in Oklahoma, and the kid wants to come to Southern. And so I put him in touch with Coach Banks, and this kid is a pretty good DB, although it's an NAIA Division II school. I think the kid will have some playing time here in Southern. But the interest in Southern is rising second to none. Now, I will tell you, you talk about donors, we have to put forth some money in this NIL piece. Last night I had dinner with Congressman Cleo Fields, and Congress is now taking up a bill to limit this NIL piece. I'm somewhat against that because, look, this is an opportunity for these kids to finally make some money to get part of some skin in the game. Now, I've suggested to Southern, and they didn't bite on it yet, they may, that we hire these football players and these athletes, female, male, it doesn't matter, and make them part-time athletes. I mean, part-time employees. Because if we make them employees, then we can fund them because they're providing a service to the university. I mean, that's a full-time job to work out there, to go to practice 5 o'clock in the morning. So why don't we consider making them employees, or part-time employees? But we'll have to kind of restrict where they can't sue us for workman comp and all that kind of stuff. But but let's think about it that way. I think that'll help us with an NIL piece. So that's something I would like for your viewers to look at and give me some feedback on that. Should they be part-time employees?
Because you don't want, like you said, the workman, you don't want them to say, I got injured on the job and sue the school because they got injured performing out on the court or on the field somewhere, but they'll be trying to hire me.
They'll be trying to hire me to represent Southern. If your bruise is blue, Tony Clayton will sue.
And I would tell you, I listen to your commercials. I like your commercials with the music in the background and with your son on there and, talking about, you cut a rug. But, this is interesting when we start to talk about, because you being an attorney and you being in the political realm, this ever-changing world of college athletics is changing before our eyes. And it's happening so fast, it's kind of hard in the moment to really understand what it is that is changing. When we talk about NIL, now, name, image, and likeness initially was not a game meant for every institution of higher learning to be able to play. This was something that the big schools who we had always known was doing it, now to be able to do it in our face legally. Now, when you look at a place like Southern, and I'm going to use Southern and other FCS schools within the state, Northwestern State, McNeese, Nichols, Grambling State, Southeastern, Southern. There are 6 FCS schools within the state of Louisiana with 2 different conferences, the Southland and the SWAC. Then you look at the bigger schools, the ULs, the Louisiana Techs, the ULMs, Tulane, and LSU, the 5 FBS schools who in multiple different conferences within this state. And my question to you is, how do we survive the world of NIL, and can we play that game wholeheartedly for the long term? Because this has kind of been the separation. The money that we do pay players, whether male or female, for whatever sport, there's also money that needs to be used for facilities and everything else. So how do we balance playing this game when we in dire need in other areas, when we talk about lack of resources, right? A low resource institution. How do we play this money game in the long term to be able to have success? And what does success look like? Is it to win the championship? Is it to build facilities? Is it to get the best coaches? And for you, I turn that back on you. How do we play this game long term? And are we capable of playing this game long term?
That's the quintessential question. That is what Congress is looking at, and will smaller schools like Southern, can we survive? And I say in the interim, yes, and here's how. I've been calling on my colleagues who practice law with me. I called Gordon McKernan the other day. I said, if I put up 100,000, give me 100,000. He said, you got 100,000. And I say to all these guys who practice law, a lot of their clientele look like you and I. And if you are a client of one of those lawyers and you're about to have a settlement, that lawyer makes 40% or whatever of your case. Make him put 5% towards Southern. I mean, so put some skin in the game. Say if I'm good enough for you to represent me, you ought to be good to me enough to give some money to Southern. So we have to demand folks to give back to this university. You have to give. Now you were spot on again. I have some young lawyers in my office, and they were like, Attorney Clayton, a chief, whatever they call me. I was thinking about, you should give me a raise. I said, well, let's just look at the millions of dollars it costs me to pay you your salary, to pay for the secretaries, to pay for Westlaw, to pay for the gas bill, the light bill, all of the research, the hundreds of thousands of dollars I have to pay the doctors. And so when you alluded to the facilities, Southern has to have the weight room. It has to have the facilities. It has to maintain the football field. So we got to come out with some type of hybrid where those kids, if you're making this money off NIL, then you got to put some skin back into the game where the school can make some money, because we don't make our money just off of the home games, because we have to go play Jackson State. We have to go play those other guys on the other turf. So we only can make our money on home game. And as you and I talked about earlier, 90% of our people outside walking around with money in their pockets, not putting money in their school because they're tailgating.
Let's go back to what you talked about, the naming rights. This seemed to have set social media on fire. And you said, hey, look, this could be a controversial topic because it is in uncharted territories for most fans. And we have this conversation, like you just said. You have reached out and realized the business side and realized, how do we maneuver the business side of college athletics? Most fans do not see it as the business. They see it as the passion, the tradition, and the legacy. And sometimes entrenched in that passion, tradition, and legacy, it's hard to let go certain things because it was the way it was and it ought to be the way it should always be. But the world is changing. It is evolving. And as the world changing and evolving, we talk about a college campus, in which a college campus should always be changing and evolving for the world, because you have to educate and get students prepared for the next world that they're going to have to deal with. The world is different from when you were a student at Southern. It was different from when I was a student at Southern. And it's different now as these students are coming out of Southern. But as we look at the evolution of athletics, and you talk about naming rights to a stadium like A.W. Mumford, who you say, has this tradition and his history and a rich legacy of the coach that he was. But let's be real, we got to pay bills and we got to make money. And if you want these certain things, we got to do certain things that you're not accustomed to doing. Can you allude to that? Go back and talk about that, what you meant when you talk about just things like naming rights and other ways that Southern can find to financially help in the situation in terms of athletics and football.
I appreciate the argument of the people who don't agree with me with these naming rights, but I ask them that you fly over that mini dome. When you fly into Baton Rouge, you got to fly over Southern Mini Dome, or you can look out the left or the right side of your plane. Either side, you're going to see that mini dome. What's wrong with having Delta Airlines on there for $500,000 a year for the next 20 years? That's a however many millions of dollars donation from them. What's wrong with having a United Airlines at Mumford Stadium? Look, I bow to Coach Mumford. Never met the guy, but thank God for what he's done. But this is a era of business. This school needs money to operate. And even putting your name on the field and all that, I don't want to spark any controversy, but you've got to be able to generate some revenue. We can honor folks who have paved the way for us. We can honor them. But it's a business, guys. And look, I think being on a show like this, Perry, it incrementally gets the word out there. Let's debate the issue. Let's talk about it, and it will be the collective voice of the majority of people that make that determination, because this board operates from your voice. So believe you me, I don't respond to social media because I think it's inappropriate for me as a leader to do so, but I read it, and I see them hits that we take sometime, and I see the compliments we take. I'm a big boy, and I'm here, and now I should take them. But we hear you. But let us know. I particularly want to know about this tailgating piece. Will you support us if we say, guys, you got to buy a ticket? I mean, you got to help the kids. Buy a ticket to tailgate. What's wrong with that? I don't know what a ticket costs. Whatever the price is, buy one ticket, buy two. Give us the naming rights. But that's where we headed with this board. And like I told you earlier, I got a great, great group of colleagues. But folks like you matter.
Let me ask, I guess, as we have this conversation, this is a think piece now, and it gives us an opportunity. And if you cool, we can take some calls. Are you cool with taking? Do you want to hear from the people?
Oh man, I'm not afraid. I have to answer to the people. Just whatever you do, don't ask me about child support or nothing. Joking, but ask me. Call me and ask me about whatever you want to ask me. So I'm here, and if I can answer it, I will. But that's my job, to answer to your callers. So put them on. 225-499-1073 is the number. 225-499-1073. Once again, 225-499-1073. Call in if you want to have a conversation. If you have thoughts, ideas in terms of what Attorney Tony Clayton is discussing with me this morning. If you have your own ideas, let's talk about it this morning. 225-499-1073. Let's take a break. When we come back, we already got the call lines going. We'll continue more of this. So let's take a break. We'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White. And what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
For the first time in the 79-year history of the Southwestern Athletic Conference Elite Championship game determines the overall champion today. Live from Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, it's the champions of the East, Jackson State, taking on Southern, the champs from the West. Hello, everybody. George Johnson along with Charles Mann. And I got to tell you, a great poet once said this is the way it's supposed to be. And it is. Number 11 Southern taking on number 15 Jackson State. Both programs have won 3 SWAC titles over the decade. So it's only fitting in the first SWAC championship game we determine the program of the decade. We've got a lot of offense out on the field. And yet this guy right here, he's going to tell you this game's all about D.
It's always all about D, George. You know that. It's always all about D.
An all-pro defensive end is going to tell you that. When you think about Jackson Jackson State, this is a team that is very potent offensively, but defensively, they've led the SWAC throughout most of the year, and they've got the best player in defense in the SWAC, and that's Tommy Head.
Tommy Head. Get used to saying that name. You'll say it all day. He'll be all over the field. He's always around the football. He's the leading tackler on this team. He also has 5.5 sacks.
At one point this year, Southern led the nation in scoring defense. Then they ran into Florida A&M. They've got a lot of guys out there that can get it done. But at the top of the list is DeMarcus Miller.
DeMarcus Miller, the linebacker coach, Terrence Graves, told me there's one word to describe this kid, and that is relentless. He's only 5'10", 285 pounds. He makes a lot of plays, though.
Relentless, appropriate word for our third member of the broadcast team, and that's Joe Claire, who's standing by down on the sideline. Joe?
Yes, indeed. I'm down here on the field capturing all the pageantry and revelry that is black college football. Birmingham, Alabama is a lovely city. This is the inaugural SWAC championship in their city, so they came out to have a good time. I will be covering the bands, the cheerleaders, shout-outs, all of that kind of stuff. Back to you guys up top.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. You know, earlier this year, Southern beat Jackson State, the 4th straight win over the Tigers. But what's most impressive about Southern, they haven't lost a conference game in 25 outings. They put it on the line against Jackson State.
We look at the starting lineups brought to you by Western Union Money Transfer, the fastest way to send money worldwide. You saw the backs. Here's your offensive line. Damon Nivens is a first-team All-SWAC member. Defensively, there's your starting lineups for Jackson State's defense. Chandler, Tommy Head, Edward Reese, pretty good middle linebacker. Rashard Anderson is a professional prospect, and they say he will be in the NFL next year. It is your starting lineup, brought to you by Western Union. Mark Washington is your quarterback. Destry Wright, the all-time leading rusher in school history, is the tailback. Jeremiah Todd is in.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. I'm Perry White. Got attorney Tony Clayton, the Southern University chair of the Southern University System Board of Supervisors. Let's go to the phone line. Hold on. First, good morning, Attorney Clayton.
I'm here, man.
All right.
Let's roll with them.
All right, let's roll with it. Let's go to the call lines. I think the first caller is Chuck. Chuck, good morning.
Good morning. How are you all doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Come on, Chuck. With it, what you got? We got plenty of calls this morning.
Okay. Good morning to you all, and good morning, Attorney Clayton. I appreciate what you all. Yes. Good morning to you. I'm calling from Monroe, Louisiana, and I have a first cousin that lives down there who knows you quite well. And by the way, he's your fraternity brother, and it's great that what you're doing, bringing attention to things like naming rights, and it's great that you're being a donor there. We look at you talking about Mark Cuban and Phil Knight being donors, but it's great that the Southern University has you. My question is, I imagine you all reaching out to a lot of the oil companies down there as well, and congratulations on you all being able to get Marshall Falk.
All right, thank you, Chuck.
Well, look, all right, that's a great question, Chuck. I'll tell you, there's a young black female who's over Chevron. She just gave us a ton of money. I say her, but she did it, or she facilitated. So yes, we are working with these oil companies. We have a toxicology department. We have probably one of the best deans of engineering. We got a guy by the name of Dean Martin, but he's now collaborating with all the chemical plants so that we can see if we can devise a curriculum that would train their engineers and their employees. So, yes, we're on that forefront. We got some great guys, particularly that Dean Martin leading the fight for us. I think he just attracted a student with a 36 on the ACT test, a 34 or 36, somewhere thereabout. But he's bringing in top-notch kids. So yes, great deal. But I'm familiar with Monroe. I used to have a friend on Renwick Street up there back in the day when I was in college. So I think she still lives out there, but it's been a long time ago.
Let's go to the next caller. We got CJ on the line. Good morning, CJ. You're live.
Good morning, Terry, and good morning, Tony. Thank you for coming on the show. This is the #1 show, the longest running show on radio. I just want to thank you for coming on the show.
CJ, man, how you been, CJ?
But this is the thing. I just got
CJ.
2 questions. What we need to do to get Southern to work with the Jaguar Journal show to produce what we need to have produced to get the word out. That's one thing. The other thing is, Southern is doing some things right now. The board has done some great things. We have a hell of a building program going on up at Southern right now. But people saying they can't see nothing going on as it relates to athletics. So can you just please bring your insight to that, and I appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, CJ.
Let me tell you, we've won a ton of championships in the last several years. So athletics is moving. The senator who took Cleo Field's place, the young senator, name escapes me now, but he's putting forth a bill to get us $8 million to build a rec center. Grambling just had it done. Representative McFarland quarterbacked that bill. So, and some of us got to put some skin in the game in terms of trying to get this rec facility built for them so that we can free up that football stadium. We also need money to build an extra basketball arena so that, well, for the females and the males. So there are a bunch of stuff working in terms of where we need to go. I would like to see us bring another arm onto our foundation. I think we need a real estate foundation. I'll tell you, Southern will break ground in a not so distant future on 94 beds. We need 3,000 beds. We turned around a ton of students because we didn't have enough beds. So my mindset is, hey guys, let's consider maybe not letting the freshmen stay, and this is just Tony now, for the next couple of years so that we can house the upperclassmen. But we got to find money to build housing. So Southern, something is going on. There's a phenom going around across this whole country where kids are coming back to these HBCUs. So put your seatbelt on and get ready. Come join in this fight with us because it's our kids. Look, Southern Law Center educates majority of the black lawyers, and I tell you, we make a difference. Southern and Grambling, to me, collectively created the black middle class in this state. Folks can say what they want to say about the other majority universities. They've attracted some of our kids, but the overwhelming majority of our kids come to Southern and Grambling and Dillard because we have a nurturing atmosphere. So as it relates, CJ, to athletics and building, it's moving in the right direction. Watch what this guy, Marshall Park, does for our program. He will raise the bar. So this Jaguar Journal, that question, you know, I'm often reminded of Howard White. When I see people selling stuff, I think of Howard White. Howard White is Southern University. Same thing with this Jaguar Journal. It's the voice of Southern. But you have not because you ask not. Come to the board, go to the president and say, hey, make us the official talk show host. I don't know what you do. I think you put some skin in the game and you offer to come buy the naming rights for that or come buy the rights for that. And then you, whatever flows with that, you bring it. So it's on you guys for not asking for it. Asking, you shall receive, hopefully.
225-499-1073 is the number, 225-499-1073. If you want to call in, have a question or anything you want to talk to Attorney Tony Clayton. Let's go to the phone lines. We got another caller. We got Marlon on the line. Good morning, Marlon.
Good morning.
Come on, talk to me.
Hey, Marlon.
Well, I'm just wondering, I heard you what you was talking about the doing for the activity center and doing what you want to put Delta. But why stop there? Why don't you get a tie into the airport and then you put all the airlines on it and just have Fly BTR Activity Center?
Well, if you try to put every airplane that flies into that airport on top of that, you're going to need binoculars to look down there to read it. But I hear what you're saying. But that would take the Baton Rouge Airport putting some skin in the game. Look, we have a jewel over there, and everybody, most business folks would want to come in there. I mean, it's a lot. Southern University does a lot for the economy of Louisiana and the country, particularly Baton Rouge. So come over there. I mean, when folks come see our campus, guys, it's beautiful. It's probably the prettiest spot in Louisiana. So let's put it out there. It's polished. Let's put it out there and it's shiny, and let's see if we can get some takers on investing in that yard up there. But I think we're on the right track by having this conversation on this show. So I was happy to hear from CJ, man. I hadn't heard from CJ in a long time, but CJ has done so much to help Southern University. I remember when back in the day, I was a young student, man. CJ was at the forefront of fighting for this school. And it's good to hear from you, CJ.
Let me ask you this. I want to go back to this conversation that we initially had because it turned into a think tank. And I love think tanks when we can think constructively on how can we better help the institution. And I know there'll be some closed door behind the scenes things, but you brought up this idea of charging tailgaters, not the RVs, because you said the RVs already pay whatever, financially that they have to in order to get those spots. But for the tailgaters who come onto the campus, for a lot of them, they're just looking for a good time outside of the stadium, but that good time outside of the stadium does not equate financially back into the institution as we talk about athletics. And athletics is the front door is the front porch to any institution. And for Southern, in a unique way, Southern has too. It has the Southern University Marching Band and Human Jukebox, and it has Southern University Athletics. And when you look at the tailgaters, and let's have this think tank, I think the biggest thing is how do you set up checkpoints? Like, how do you go about governing this onto the campus? Because you're going to have folks who's going to be walking over the hump and walking down Swan Street to get onto campus. So do you set it almost up like a checkpoint, like everybody stop here in order to go through pedestrians walking? You have to do this, but then how do you govern it for every person sitting in a car if it's 5 people pulling up in one car? It's kind of, we get into that thought process. How do we make this work if we truly want to see this be successful?
There are 5 people in the car. You got to have 5 tickets. You set up cashless points throughout the entry points into that university. And you set up your drone technology and you watch the perimeters. And if somebody permeates or breaks through that perimeter, you go and you approach them. But I don't like the idea that we're still taking cash at the check-in points. To me, that's so Neanderthal. But I for some reason, we got to address it. Some folks believe that we have to, but I don't like it. But when I go to certain places now, you got to have a credit card. So most folks have an iPhone, they got that Apple Wallet, or they got some type of debit card. So use that debit card. That way, the money it lessens the interest in trying to do something nefarious. But it can be done. So you put the folks at the entrance right at Swan Street. Put 6 people there. When you walking in, you got to scan them on in. Where's your ticket? If not, you got to purchase a ticket right here. You can come on in. I mean, we can do it. We have the technology. You got artificial intelligence. We can do it. And we should do it. I think it's going to take folks like Chuck and CJ and Marlon and those kind of folks to put the pressure on us to make sure that we get it done.
Yeah, I like the idea because we're talking about extra revenue that's going to come in. It ain't just
you like all my ideas, Perry. It seems like you like all my ideas, man. It's pretty impressive. Well, I need to come on this show more often.
Well, look, I'm all about thinking forward, and I think for so long, and I have been critical of Southern in a lot of cases because I think people want things to be the way that it's always been. And when you look at the world that's evolving around us, things have to change. You can't keep trying to do what worked in 1995 and 2026 because there's a whole new world that is evolving. You just said it best. AI. So when you start to think outside of the box, that's why I like the things that you're saying, because guess what? It's outside of the box. It makes people uncomfortable. People deem to call it controversial, but to me, it's nothing controversial about it. It's just thinking. And that's what I went to Southern for, to think. That's why you went to Southern, to think, to figure out what ways can we now evolve and take this to the next level. And that's what you've been doing with what you've been presenting. It is thinking outside of the box. And for us to survive, we have to think outside of the box. And if we do not, we'll stay continuously to fall behind. Let's get ready to take a break. We come back, and I'm going to get ready to close things out, which I know I've held you way too long. But let's take a break, and we'll come back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Game. The excitement is in the air.
And again, he's going to throw the football. Complete this one to Daniel Guy. Guy stood on his feet. Guy's going to go in. Touchdown! Brian Reynolds will come in and attempt the PAT, which is up, and it is good. On the record books at Jackson State. This time, nothing doing, and here comes your man, DeMarcus Miller.
Yeah.
Miller led the club with 17 tackles for a loss, as Reynolds will set up for the field goal attempt. This one will be from 20 yards out. He's 3 of 3 between 20 and 29 yards out. Kick is up, kick is good. So we've come to the end of the first quarter with Jackson State leading 10-3. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again, throwing the football downfield. Oh, and it's his receiver. Hayes makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. And every time you think Southern struggles, they come back, they make a play. They've done it all year long. Kick is up. Kick is good. Second down and a yard to go. Again, they give it to Lewis. Lewis finds room. Lewis still on his feet. Lewis making a move to the outside. He's inside the 25, the 10, the 5. What a run by Ryan Lewis. 69-yard run for Ryan Lewis. And how about this? Kicks up, kicks good.
Halftime, George Johnson along with Charles Mann. Southern trailed in this football game 10-7. Then they reel off 14 straight points, and they do it with the big plays.
And that's something that we didn't think would happen, at least from Southern's perspective. They've been able to methodically go down the field on people and win ball games, not the big plays. You saw the big play by Ryan Lewis running 69 yards, the nice throw by Terrence Levy. This is something that I don't think Jackson State thought they would see in Southern either, and they go into halftime down by 7 points.
Jackson State came in the best defense out of the SWAC. And if you take a look at the highlights, you will see that this club, and I'm talking about Southern, was really able to capitalize on a couple of miscues, and the big plays are the result of it.
And this is Daniel Guy with a nice stiff arm to Bradley Pittman there. And he runs that ball 36 yards inside for a touchdown, makes it 7-3. And then Terrence Levy, quarterbacking, throws a big bomb to Michael Hayes, who gets by Rashard Anderson and waltzes into the end zone for a 69-yard reception. And then the big run by Ryan Lewis, a scat back for Southern, races 69 yards for the score. And that's where it stands right now.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. I'm Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. Good morning to everybody listening on Talk 107.3 FM across the Baton Rouge capital city area, and everybody watching across the world, the nation and the world on our YouTube and Facebook Live. Got attorney Tony Clayton here with me as a special guest today. He is the chair of the Southern University System Board of Supervisors. Good morning.
I'm here, still waiting on you, Perry.
Hey,
I'm enjoying this, man. This has been a great conversation this morning.
I'm glad you're rocking with me. The phone lines are blowing up. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Terry this morning on the phone lines. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Perry. How you doing? Good morning, Attorney Clayton. How you doing?
How you doing, Keith? What's going on, man? Hey.
Look, I wanted to know, what is the vision and strategy for these three things I'm about to name? One, education for the student athlete. Number two, maintaining just athletic staff due to, if they're successful, you know they're coming, and NIL money for the players. And I'll just hang up and listen to your response.
Thank you, Terry, for the call.
I'll take the last one first, the NIL money for the players. Terry, I don't know what your status is in life, but I'll tell you, if you were to give $250 a month, and you say, Tony, this is to go, not Tony, Roman Banks, this is to go to two offensive linemen. But if you take 10 guys like you, just to give 200-300 or whatever, that's going to help us. So, I mean, it's a small sacrifice, but it's going to a college kid. You talked about his education. That kid works his or her butt off to play sports, to entertain for us. But it's going to take guys like you, Terry, to come in and couple up with guys like me. And I don't care where I am or what position you're in life. You got to give back to these kids. I mean, Harvard University has, billions and billions of dollars in endowment that they can take money off the interest from that and just take care of their athletes and the rest of their programs. The other part you said about getting ready, the education of the student athletes. Coach Falk is bringing in tutors and folks to make sure that these kids are up to par with their education. The key to this education piece is to make sure those kids go to class. If you go to class, you're going to learn the information through osmosis. You know, I'm a firm believer that if Harvard can have 99 retention rate for their kids, why can't we have 80% Because if you have to go to the class, if you have to listen to the lecture, and then you do the Socratic method, you do like they did me in law school. Say, Tony, let's talk about this. Why do you think that this theory is in place? But once you get those kids to learning like that, I'm just not a firm believer that you give them a test at the end of the semester and that's going to measure all their learning. I mean, you got to talk to them on a regular basis. And if that kid does that and he shows up to class and he learns, then I think that kid should do well in that course. But I'm just not a firm believer that hey, we're going to give you a test after 6 months and, if you don't get it right, you flunk. That's a difference on that. But going to class and making sure they go to class, I think that's a big step. And I think the last one you asked was about the staffing and things of that nature. We're well with that. Coach Falk is bringing in 4 analysts. I mean, those are folks who are going to study the algorithms of the other school. I mean, you're about to see some new age football coming here, new age sports coming to Southern. So I hope I answered your question. If not, get my number from Perry and call me offline. I'll try to answer it.
Let's go to the phone lines. We got another caller this morning. We got William on the line. Good morning, William.
Good morning, Perry. How are you all this morning?
Doing good, man. What you got for
us? Hey, William.
Yes. For Tony Clayton. Tony, I'm in agreement. I'm a 25-year season ticket holder, and I think that you are correct that we should, the tailgaters that come to the game that don't buy a ticket, they should be buying a ticket. I mean, when I come to the game, there's so many people on campus that I'm a season ticket holder. I have to sit in line hours to get on campus to see the football game, and I'm a season ticket holder. And we got tailgaters up there that's just there taking up space. And I believe that they should be, they should have to buy a ticket to get on campus to be tailgaters, really. So I just want to let you know.
I'm glad you said that, and I'm glad you support that. But you just brought up another point. I think the parking that's closer to the university should go to ticket holders, should go to senior citizens. But that's another day. But thank you, William, for that. Where are you from, William? You're from the Baton Rouge area?
Yes, I live in Harvey, and I drive up.
See, that's the point I was making. You drive in from Harvey, Louisiana. You should have first. You should have first dibs. I like that. So that's a good point.
Right, and just another comment is, like the hiring of Marshall Falk, I believe that he can really bring something to the table as far as getting us some endorsements and stuff that will help our branding. So that was the comments that I just wanted to make, was especially about that we should be charging tailgaters to come up there on campus. So thank you very much.
Thank you, William, for the call.
The next time, Perry, we come in, I want to talk about, should we limit the eligibility of a player? Like, I don't think JUCO ought to count. I think that's a junior college. It's not a 4-year college. And so my son, he's 24. He was a All-American in track at Duke, All-American at Rose College, but he's 24 and he's in law school now in Texas. But this kid still has a lot of energy into him. So I don't know, man. We need to talk about, should we increase the age and let these kids, if they're competitive, they can play, let them play. So let's talk about that the next thing.
Just here recently, they have granted eligibility to student athletes, especially on the football side of junior college. I mean, just a wide receiver right there at Jackson State, Shamar Savage. When you look at a former running back here at Southern University that went off to Tennessee State, he got granted an extra. Kendrick Grimes got granted an extra year of eligibility because of the junior college rank. So right now they have presented to the fact that if you go JUCO, that it did whatever years you spent at JUCO, that's the year of eligibility that you have left. So they are, and that's the ever-changing world of college football and college athletics, that we have to stay on pace of keeping up as it is changing, and we can't be late to the party. And I think far too often, is what you say, they call you chief. Far too often we have found ourselves late to the party. And by the time we've gotten to the party, all the food is gone, the drinks have been drank up, and we're left with whatever is left behind.
Let me ask you this. I'm 60, so you think I should be able to play if I could still play? I'm joking, man.
Hey, man, if you can go out there and shoot a 3 and bring us a championship, send you out there. Because at this point, what is professional and what is amateur? And how much is student athlete still student before athlete? Because I was listening to the University of Florida players after they won a championship, and somebody asked them, how do you balance class and athletics in terms of being a ball player? They're not going to class. And I'm speaking in terms of the upper echelon, the guys that are touching millions of dollars or the higher hundreds of thousands of dollars as NIL. But then the thing is, we have a problem with every player now feels like they need to be paid, where every player is not meant. Let me just say this. Every player, although you do have a value, that value may be to get a full ride scholarship and come here and get an education. But aside from that, every player that is out there as an athlete, male or female, does not necessarily warrant to get an opportunity to get this bag as they think that they deserve. Every player isn't that good, and that's why when you look at the transfer portal, there are thousands of kids that hit the transfer portal never to be heard of again because somebody has told them the grass is green on the other side, and they had to find out it's not even no grass over there. And unfortunately, you left on the outside looking in now.
Barry, you taking on some controversial topics, Mister. I can't wait to read Facebook because we charging people for tailgating.
Mm-hmm.
We not recognizing JUCO. I mean, this is stuff that went on the Journal today, man. Wow, this is you're trend setting, my friend.
Well, I want you to understand too, I'm not agreeing with you just because you're the chair of the board this morning. I want that to first and foremost. I'm agreeing with you on the things that you brought up this morning because I myself am a futuristic thinker. I like to think in ways that aren't just in the now, but in the future. When we look at communities, when you look at things across the nation, you want to know how did they end up in the success that you see now? Because planning happened 5-10 years ago for it to then see what we see today, in which that you say, well, that side of town looks good, or they got this growing. That's because proper planning went into it, and it wasn't in the now. They looked into the future. And what you're thinking and talking about is looking into the future, which I believe is why, the hire of Marshall Faulk. It is the future of what we're looking at that he can bring in with the resources. That's why you're looking at getting a new system president at Southern University. It is for the entire system. It is the future that we're looking at for the as a whole. And it's not just now. And I think a lot of people get caught up into the now. And not only that, they get content. And when you get content, you get nervous, you get scared because, hey, that's something I never thought of. And it's different. It's outside the box. And when it's outside the box, you got to be ready. And if you're not ready, you will get nervous and scared. And for those who get scared, they used to say scared money don't make no money. If you scared, you'll get left behind. You got to keep up and you got to keep pushing.
I want you to consider bringing on a colleague of mine on that board, and that's the hip-hop doc, Dr. Ronnie Whitfield. Okay. He's now over athletics, but he was over student affairs deal. And what he did with Southern Lab, I mean, you just gotta follow Ronnie Whitfield. I mean, his thinking, that medical degree goes way beyond that, but he has taken this lab school and put it on the map. I mean, it's directly because of him that we divert a lot of attention toward that lab school in every meeting. But now he's over football and so athletics altogether. So get him on that show. Listen to some of his ideas because he's taught us, he taught me in particular, a lot about Southern Lab and how we had that jewel right under our nose and we weren't paying enough attention to it. And he's revolutionized it. So I'm excited to see what this guy's going to do with athletics. So call him and get his butt over here and let him give you some of those ideas. Look, we got some awesome board members. That vice chairman, we just got some great guys. It's not me, it's the collective whole. So talk to some of those folks. They'll be happy to talk to you. You'll be impressed with what we have up there on that board.
Hey, I listen, I'm willing to have conversations with any and everybody. And guess what? He always challenges me. He saw me at the game one year, football game, and I kicked the Raising Cane's field goal and I made it. So now every time he see me, at first he wanted to smoke. Now, my knee, man. Oh, my leg, it ain't the same. So he been ducking the smoke from me, and I hope he hear it because I'm going to challenge him this year. We're going to get out there and we're going to kick some field goals as Marshall Faulk and the Jaguars are winning. And as we get ready to close things out with you, first of all, I want to say thank you for coming on this morning and having an opportunity not only to talk to me, but to talk to the people. And if you, the YouTube page and the Facebook page are plenty of people having conversations within themselves. It's not just about what we heard from the callers, but we've sparked conversation amongst the comment section of the YouTube and Facebook pages. People are watching and listening to us live. But that's the thing of it. Outside of a board meeting, outside of having to sit down with you one-on-one, this gives people an opportunity to get to talk to Attorney Tony Clayton. This gives people an opportunity to hear some of your ideas and what you think. And then what I love about it, it creates the think tank. People say, you know what, that's a good idea. And then as I started looking into the comment sections, it started evolving. And that's the word I've been using. People started sharing their ideas. How about we do this? How about walk up traffic only come down meals? And, the traffic coming down, cars coming over the hump. It was ideas that started to flow off of that. So I appreciate you for coming on this morning and being able to have that conversation. Trust me, it ain't going to be the last time. And you're welcome anytime you want to come on here. And that way we can share these ideas with people. We can grow them and we can push them, because behind a lot of these ideas, they just can't be the ideas that come into fruition for reality. We then have to create a campaign to get people to buy in. It's just like anything in life. When you're pushing it for people to buy into it, whether they're going to vote for it or not vote for it, or be for it or not be for it, we got to create a campaign to get people to understand, because what we dealt with at Southern for far too long is the street committee and word of mouth and folks telling stories. And by the time we get to the 10th person, the 20th person, the 30th person, it ain't the same of what it began when it started. So we got to create these campaigns for a lot of the ideas and a lot of things that I think you want to push and put out there, along with the committee of people that's working with you, so we can get people behind it and understand the importance of it's okay to be uncomfortable and change the way that you thought it was supposed to be, to change it into a new world of the way it's going to be. And it ain't going to be no other way. It's going to be this way. You got to get on board, because if we want to be the best, it takes certain things to be the best. Just like with a football team, with any sport, with going to law school, anything. If you're going to be the best and you're going to get that degree and you're going to finish out, it's going to take some sacrifice. And that sacrifice may be long nights of studying. You can't go out. That sacrifice may be financial. It's whatever it takes, but it's going to put you in a place where you're not going to be comfortable, and you're going to have to be able to step up and then put your feet in the fire and do what it do to be able to make that successful.
Well, I have a new mantra for the Jaguar Journal. Jaguar Journal, where ideas are born and where the light is shined on all your ideas. So go to visit the Jaguar Journal. Kind of like my deal. If you want it straightened, hire Tony Clayton.
I heard
or
that.
If your bruise is blue, Tony Clayton will sue. I don't know, but something like that.
And I was going to ask you, for the people to keep up with you, but, any information in terms of your law firm or anything out there you want to put, I roll out the red carpet for you, for the people to keep up with you.
So my firm is a boutique firm. I'm probably hired by, particularly your multi-million-dollar cases. I'm the lawyer that they hire to go try the cases. So I'm the guy who talks to the jury. So if you Google me, you'll see hundreds, if not millions, billions of dollars of verdicts that I've won for lawyers. So typically, if that lawyer has a catastrophic injury, some state or some other place here in Louisiana, I'm going to be one of those guys, not all the time, but I'll be in that number to say, hey, we need to go hire Tony Clayton. So insurance companies hire me, plaintiff lawyers hire me, and I get my own clients. But I give part of what I make back to Southern. So I give it to my mom's church and Southern, and my kids are last in line. So I'm at that point now. Every now and then I buy a pair of cowboy boots and a new suit, but other than that, I'm done. I don't need anything else. But look, I've enjoyed this show this morning. I've enjoyed the questions from the callers, the feedback, to hear from CJ, and Chuck and Monroe. Those guys, man, this is awesome. You got something going on here. And come see us, come visit this board, but just don't talk to me. Talk to those 15 other board members. I guarantee you they have a lot to bring to the table. And folks, before you point a finger at those board members, they work hard. They're doing it without any pay, and they show up, and we have committee meetings. They're the hardest working group of people in higher ed. But on behalf of them, I thank you for allowing me to be on your show to speak for my board and our board, and I appreciate you guys. Love you guys, and thanks for having me. Terry.
Thank you for coming on this morning. That's the voice of Attorney Tony Clayton. He is the chair of the Southern University System Board of Supervisors. Great conversation with him. We got to get ready to take a break, everybody. When we come back on the side, we'll get ready to close things out. You guys stay tuned. More to Jaguar Journal.
Washington second, but he's intercepted right there. This time the inside handoff.
And the ball was dropped, and Tommy Head.
Here's Taylor in the pocket, looking downfield and looking for Leroy Fields, and this one looks intercepted, and it is.
He's played a lot tougher ever since. And it's a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
It's
pass.
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable Michael Hayes. Hayes now with 187 yards receiving. 169-yard touchdown, 181-yard touchdown.
And Southern's came up with all the big plays.
They lead by 14. And that one is intercepted by Darden. Darden looking for some room, and Guyon will finally drag him down. But we start the 4th right after this. 2nd down and 20 after the penalty.
Oh, he's got a man wide open.
Going into the corner. Touchdown! Reynolds attempting the point after. It's good. A 32-yard field goal. Kick is up. Kick is good.
This is a great football game.
We knew it would be, though. Torrey Thigpen got us out of our seats.
And this is the punt return by Torrey Thigpen. We were just talking about we haven't seen him. He breaks 2 tackles and runs up the sideline. He has great blocking, but gets pushed out of bounds on about the 1-yard line.
And touchdown Jackson State.
The game is a game of momentum swings. Snap is good. The kick is up.
Line driver. Yes, sir.
The ball up to the big receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out of bounds at the 10-yard line. An I formation. Oh! Fumble Levy. He kicks it and falls on top of it.
Touchdown. Receiver that has not seen much action comes up big.
1st and 10. Washington over the middle, intercepted. On his own play of the game is Michael Hayes with 8 receptions, 266 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
And that was
the last one was unbelievable.
In the back of y'all, me and Doug about to go party with the rest of the people. All right, I see y'all.
And another interception. And there's Pete Richardson right there. Made the adjustments a couple of weeks ago against Grambling to beat Doug Williams' team. Makes the adjustments time in and time out. And because of it,
that's it.
Hey, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. I'm Perry White. As we get ready to close things out, thank you for attorney Tony Clayton to come on this morning and have a conversation and talk with us about just a plethora of things when you talk about the Southern University system, when you talk about athletics. And trust me, it won't be the last time. Hold on, we still got a call on the line, huh? Go to him right quick. Who was it? Terry, good morning. You got about 30 seconds with me. What's up, Terry?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Perry. I intend to call back and say, look, I'm concerned about the high school student athlete. We talking about JUCO and the transfer portal. Man, I hope you can look into it with the young people, man, for us coming out of high school to get scholarships. And I'll just listen.
I appreciate you, Terry. Thank you for calling in, man. That's something I'll do a episode on here in the future. I got a whole episode I'm going to bring to you guys about transfer portal, the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to it, as well as the high school student. There's a lot on the horizon as we talk about the spring that's coming in front of us that I'm going to talk about that, and not just from a football perspective, but from overall. But want to thank Attorney Tony Clayton for coming on. He is the Southern University System Chair of the Board of Supervisors, just talking to us about a plethora of things. I want to thank you guys for tuning in this morning, whether you're listening to us on radio or you watching anywhere in the world on our YouTube and Facebook, man. Glad to have you guys. Be sure to keep up with the Jaguar Journal. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can follow us across all social media. We're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, we're on X, we're on Instagram, as well as Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So we're across all of these things, man. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. It's not often you get a chance to interact with our higher ups at Southern, but this was a great chance. And if you didn't call in, that was your loss. I gave you the number. You had an opportunity. You could have questioned. You could have asked anything that you wanted. But if you didn't, obviously you walked away maybe satisfied, or you may have been a little scared. And I can understand that too. A lot of folks scared, but it's okay. We're just trying to create conversation in order to get something better for what we have. And that's the product and marketing and branding of Southern University. And so hopefully in the future too, I can get Marshall Falk here on the show. It's a lot that we're working towards as we get into the new year in 2026 for the Jaguar Journal. That's why I want you guys to continue to grow with us and continue to hit the subscribe button, the like button, the follow button, and everything else, because as we continue to grow, we need you to grow with us so we can continue to put out ideas and thoughts on what can we do in order to ensure, as Tony Clayton said, that Southern University is around for another 400 to 500 years after we're long gone, to ensure this thing is still rolling. So for myself, Perry White, my man Mike, my man CJ Guidry, and everybody here at the Jaguar Journal, thank you guys for tuning in this morning. I'll be in Florida next week with the Southern University Marching Band down in near Miami. So I'll be on the road doing the show next week. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend and a great week. And we'll be back next week at the same time, the same place, because always, it's the Jaguar Journal. Love you guys, all right? What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.